Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show on Hamilton Radio. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass, guys, because 31 years ago I was a dumbass. But through the grace of God, I can honestly say now, 31 years later, I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times. It means donkey, and that's what I was. All kidding aside, guys, you know, this probably has been the toughest 2 years of everyone's lives all over the world. People need to know they're not alone. I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. My services to you are free. Please reach out if you need help, okay? No one should have to suffer lonely. The other thing is my book. It can definitely help save a life. You can get it through Simon & Schuster's Archway Publishing bookstore. Here's the thing, guys. If you truly, truly, truly can't afford my book, reach out to me as well. The other thing I want to say is this. We've got to stop believing the lies. You are not powerless, not over anything, especially with God. Okay? If anyone needs prayer, I'm here. Okay? So really, if you or a family member or a friend needs help, please, please, please reach out. So, having said all that, guys, I've got a really, really cool show for you. I have an incredible guest, and it's finally happened. You know, Elaine Ballace is in the house. Say hello to the world.
Hello, world, and this is Mika, and
Hi,
Mika is
Mika.
a major diva, so she had to be on the show.
I love it. I love it.
Say hello, Mika.
Hi, Mika. I love it. That's awesome.
Okay.
What a surprise.
You know, it's so interesting. I really liked what you said about your book because we'll get into the funny part. But when I wrote this book, How to Write a Book Campy Lane Style with Oreo, it started at first just as a joke. You know, it was going to be a great gag gift. And then we're slammed with COVID. And then we're slammed with civil unrest. And I said, and then I saw them rewriting history of what was going on. And I said, no. So I changed the meaning of my book.
Okay.
And I decided I was going to get it out there because I wanted people to be able to write their story in their writing, because you can't trust what's going on in history. You can't trust anything. And it's like what you said about the misinformation. And I want this for people to have their own legacy, because every day when you say, I can't believe this is happening, if it's written in your own handwriting, it can't change. And it's your truth. It's no one else's truth. And that was the reason behind my book. So I love when people do books like that. And on the funny side, and I'll give Mel a plug, Mel Brooks. Here's Mel Brooks's book, and it's all about me. And I tell people, I jokingly say to everyone, I go, well, Mel's book is very thick. It's like over 500 pages. Here's my book, which is only like 50 pages. So you can see the difference in our careers. But he sent me an autographed copy of his book, so I sent him an autographed copy of my book. And he called me up and he goes, Elaine, you are crazy, but it's one of the most clever ideas. And it's so good because with everything that's going on, and with Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever the name is at the moment, people don't understand and they don't communicate like they used to. And if people can at least write down their story and their legacy, and it's in their writing, no one can change it. They could try, but they'll never change it. So
I want to comment on what you were just saying. I was going to wait until closer to the end to read a poem out of my book, but I think now is appropriate based on what you were saying about people needing to leave a legacy and all that. This poem, I titled it Utilizing Gifts and Talents, because that's what it's all about, Elaine, and you said it perfectly. I'm going to share it now. I don't want to wait until the end. I was just touched and thought it's time. Utilizing gifts and talents. This is for you, girlfriend, because you've already done this. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour. You have. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more. Then our jobs to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. Don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share. Our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened and then you can roar. Proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth and not keeping them at bay, your name will live forever, forever and a day. Go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. Make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. That's for you today, girlfriend.
Oh, well, I love that, and it's so true. And people ask me, I believe I was given a God-given gift of talent for comedy, especially. And I try to have a good sense of humor, and I believe God blessed me with a great sense of humor. And I think the most important thing in life is to be able to laugh and be able to, even when you hear the worst possible news,
yes,
at some point there's something that you will find funny, or something that is like, oh, I can't even believe you can't write this stuff. That's what I tell people. And I think it's so important. And I always say, God graced us with talent. God graced us with everything. And we must shine for him.
And there you go. I love what you just said. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about this incredible biography. Okay. We're going to get to your book again. We're going to talk about everything and anything you want to talk about, all the talents God gave you. You're incredible. Okay. I had Ruben. Ruben, say hello to everyone.
Ruben, did you leave us?
He'll be back. He's listening.
He's making sandwiches for us.
Okay.
His personal ones.
Is one of the owners of Hamilton Radio, and he's our tech guy and producer
I'm here.
today. Hey, so I'm telling her something in front of everyone, okay? So Ruben is already a huge fan of yours because when I told him all the different movies you were in and some Mel Brooks, and I mentioned Spaceballs, he just cracked up, okay? So say something to Elaine about Spaceballs.
So Elena, when Spaceballs first came out, I was probably, too young to understand what was even going on in the film, but every scene in there was just like totally hilarious. I also saw Dracula, Dead and Loving It, and I was
in that too.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and also Robin Hood Men in Tights.
That was, I must tell you, I have to stop you on Robin Hood
Yeah.
Men in Tights. Robin Hood Men in Tights, I will say forever probably was one of the best sets I ever worked on.
Oh.
Everybody, it was so much fun. And I was in the scene, the wedding scene. So we were outdoors and there were all the animals and everything like that.
Okay.
And back in those days, it was before cell phones that had the cameras. You know, you had to bring a real camera if you wanted a picture. And Mel was generous enough to let everyone bring cameras. So instead of being on a set, I felt as if I were at summer camp. Although I never went to summer camp, it seemed like that's what summer camp would be. And so I told everybody, I was in the movie on the to-do list with Bill Hader. And I said, you know, this set is so much fun, but you have to be second to Mel. I said, I can't put anyone above Mel because he's my favorite person in the whole wide world.
That's beautiful.
So he goes, it's okay, I'll be second. And jump cut years later, Judd Apatow was in Mel's office. And so he goes, Elaine, you're never going to guess who's here. And I go, who? He goes, your friend. And I go, my friend? And he goes, yeah. He goes, Bill Hader. Wait, Mika wants to make noise because
That's
she's
okay.
not on camera.
It's okay.
So anyway, I said, well, what's he doing there? He goes, I don't know, but I think he came for a free pastrami sandwich.
That's great. That's
Because
great.
John Apatow brought either pastrami or corned beef, and so it was one or the other.
That's
And
great.
so when Bill won his Emmy for Barry, and I was talking to Mel, and Mel goes, we like Bill Hader, don't we? And I go, yeah, we do. He goes, oh, good, I'm glad he won.
That's
So
great.
that was very funny. And I have, this is my favorite story. Mel Brooks went to an after party from the Emmys one year. So I called him up, and I never have said this ever. And I said, so Mel, how was the party? Great. So-and-so was there. I got to kibitz with all my friends and everything. And I go, oh, so how was it? He goes, great. I go, who else was there? He goes, Mick Jagger came over to kibitz. And I went,
Please.
oh my God, I'm so jealous. And I said, that's when you know you're a star, when Mick Jagger comes to you, you know?
That's cool.
And so he said to Mel, he goes, so Mel, we're getting old. Mel goes, I am old. You're getting.
That's cute.
So that's like one of my favorite stories. I did get to meet Keith Richards once. And he
Oh,
was
that's cool.
That's cool.
He is without a doubt the nicest guy in the world.
Yes.
And
Nice to hear that.
oh my God, I will forever be a fan. And he was so cool. And it's really funny because he was there. He was at Musso and Frank in Hollywood. If anybody is familiar with that, it's a landmark. And believe it or not, he was there with Johnny Depp. Nobody cared about Johnny Depp.
That's great. Oh, that's great.
And so anyway, I went in the back because he was in the back. And so these people were all like just so flustered they couldn't even talk. And he goes, oh, do you want a picture? And they go, yeah. So he grabbed their camera and take a picture.
That's great.
I mean, he was just a real little jokester. And so anyway, I didn't even have a camera then. Again, it was before cell phone cameras. And I don't remember from the time someone called me to tell me that Keith Richards was there till I got there. I have no recollection. And so afterwards he said, oh, do you want to come hang out with us? And I said, sure, you know. So I went and hung out with him. And I can't tell you, he was the kindest man, generous, talked about everything. Didn't really want to talk about Mick, though, because I said, so what do you think Mick's doing tonight? You know, you're here. He goes, God only knows. And I said, okay, I get it. We
That's
don't
great.
talk about Mick tonight, you know.
That's great.
And it was just, he was so kind. And I just felt like oh my God, I'm taking all this man's time. And so I did say to him, I said, well, I go, no one will believe I was here. I said, do you think I could just get an autograph? And he goes, of course. So I go, it's Elaine. He goes, Elaine, you've been with us like a half hour or more. He goes, don't you think I remember your name?
That's great.
I will be a fan forever.
That's
So,
beautiful.
you know, I mean, I think sometimes when you meet the people, I mean, not everyone who's a superstar is really nice. I mean, I will, you know, say
Right.
that. I've met some that are not nice at all.
I understand.
But when they're at the level of a Keith Richards or a Mel Brooks or somebody like that, there really is something very special about them.
That's beautiful.
You know, and they are really kind, and they're not mean or anything. And Andre Previn, I was working at the Hollywood Bowl as a kid, you know, being an usher, and his daughter worked there too. And so I got, you know, to meet him and stuff. Another man who was just incredible, so nice. And we were backstage, his daughter and I were backstage, and some people came to visit. And she goes, Dad, who are those people? And he goes, I don't have a clue. She goes, but you were talking to him. He said, what you have to do, remember this in life. And he turned to me and goes, remember this in life. He said, when people come to you, if they give you enough information, he goes, make sure you listen. He goes, and always make them feel welcome.
Right. Beautiful. Of course. Beautiful. I love
Again, a superstar, you know? So I think many superstars really do have something super special, you know, that really makes people want to be around them, want to like them. And, you know, they're not being jerks or anything to their public and their fans. And I think that's the most important thing.
Let's give a shout out to someone.
Yes,
Go ahead,
we
you
have
start.
a mutual friend, but you get to, at least you know him in person, and John Terlizzi. And
Yep.
he is wonderful. I call him my agent.
That's
He
so
is
funny.
so great, and I know he's listening. So, John, a shout out to you.
We love John Terlizzi. I call him my favorite stalker on Facebook. He brings me some incredible guests, and here's one today. So
Oh, thank
John.
you. Yeah, he is so great. He's like, there's a man who truly wants to help.
Yes.
And he just does so many great things for so many people. He doesn't even know the people or anything.
Right.
And he just does great things for people. And that's what life should be about. I mean, we should all be helping each other, because then it would really, truly be a better world. You get to meet, you know, wonderful people that you may not have ever met, you know, or would never meet. And he is just super special.
Beautiful.
So, John, we love you.
We love you, John. So let's talk a little bit about you and your background and your career. Tell us. Come
Well,
on, girl.
I started off as a professional ice skater.
Yep.
And at age 8, and there was a big difference back in those days when, if you were amateur or pro, and you couldn't even do like a commercial, whether it were skating or not, if you were an amateur skater. And so my dad just thought it would be better to let me go pro and just do shows or TV or whatever. He didn't want me traveling because he didn't feel it was fair. I had an older sister, and he said, no, the family should be a family. You know, we shouldn't split it up.
Okay.
And so he goes, but when you're old enough, if you want to travel, you can. But by the time I was old enough, I decided I'd rather go to college and go to football games. and experience that part of life. And while I was skating, I was also acting. And so then after college, I still wanted to learn more about what was in the world, and was a psych major and graduated as that, and did some graduate work in urban studies, and really wanted to know like a lot about people. And I know people laugh about taking different courses in college, but I wanted to learn about all religions. I wanted to learn about urban communities. I wanted to learn about different lifestyles. I mean, I've always been fascinated. And if I hear people with accents, oh, where are you from? Because I just love that. It's like, it's so different from everything. I mean, everyone thinks, oh, Hollywood, it's, this, that, or the other thing. But I mean, you may never use one class that you took in college except for the experience of going to college and the experience of each class that you took. You won't even remember too much, but you'll say, oh yeah, I remember that this happened or that happened or whatever happened. And it was very fascinating.
I'm just laughing. I'll tell you later, but go ahead. You're making me crack up.
But I mean, it's really fascinating. And I also learned because I really thought, well, maybe I could just help people. And so, like I said, my degree was in psych, and I worked at different places, and they'd say, well, you can run this and that. And I never realized how many issues were out there. And at that time, I think as a girl and being very young and maybe having lived in a bubble, living in Hollywood, I said, this is so fascinating, but I think I'm too young at this time. Even though academically I could help them, emotionally, I don't think I was there to have experienced enough of life to be able to help them.
Gotcha.
So, but I'm still fascinated with things, and I still analyze everything as if, I were doing it for psychology or whatever. And it's very fascinating. And I think that's part of in me that I want to help. And then I said, well, I think the greatest way I could help them is just make them laugh.
I was just going to say that to you. Wait, I have to interrupt you. I'm listening to you talk, and I said, because I was able to write this book because of my past, and I'm able to help addicts because of my past. I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking, I'm sure you have an idea, but I was going to say you have no idea. Just you making people laugh and smile, what you're doing, that's healing them. So yeah. I had to say that. Continue.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. And so that's one of the reasons, and I may have another guest for you on the show, but there's somebody who is starting his own TV station. It's going to be called Misfit TV.
Gotcha.
And he's a magician. I mean, I can give his name. His name is David Sharif. And I think he'd make a great guest, and he could tell you about his network and everything.
I just interviewed several magicians live in studio in Hamilton, and we're having another one in July. I would love to interview him. I love magic, but continue.
And so anyway, when his network comes up, he is going to be doing the misadventures of Campy Lane, because with me, everything's a misadventure. And so anyway, we were talking, and I said, the thing that I want to do most is make people laugh, and I try, and even when I say things to people, they'll just start laughing about like the worst possible things, for example, or whatever. And it's like, I can't even believe this is happening, and then like, I'm able to make a joke about it or something like that. And I always, say, you can't write this stuff, sometimes life is just the best writer. And so he really got my show. He goes, well, I think you're kind of a mixture of Lucy meets Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I love it. I love it.
It's funny. One time I went to see a doctor, and he looked exactly like Larry David. And I said, oh my God, do people tell you look like Larry David? He goes, I am Larry David. He goes, the show's on hiatus. I'm playing a doctor now.
Wait, but he was kidding, right? Oh yeah, okay.
So I figured, this is a man with a sense of humor. Yes. If I ever really needed to go see a doctor, yes. I would definitely go see him. But it was so funny. And it turned out, it was really ironic, because it turned out that he knew me as a skater. He either knew me as a skater or coach, but he knew me from a rink that I kind of grew up at and then later taught at. So that was really interesting. So it's a small world.
It is a very small. I tell everyone, be nice, because even if you're in a group of strangers, what's happened to me a few times blew my mind how small the world is. I'm talking to someone about their brother. Okay, better come to our reunion because I love them, him and his wife. And Sharon's brother and his wife are sitting there eating dinner, listening to me. And he says, now what if I would have said, I hope they don't come to our reunion? Okay. But I love them. I was like, but you're right, Elaine. We have to be nice because you never know. It's a very small world. Who knows who? I have a couple questions for you.
Okay, I'll have a couple of answers.
Yes.
Don't know, but I didn't study for the test, so in case I miss them.
No, these are great questions. I mean, personal. Okay. So other than the people you've mentioned, can you name one or two more people that really blew your mind when you met them or influenced you through your careers?
Well, I think growing up, in all honesty, and I never met her, but I did meet her granddaughter. I did meet Lucille Ball's granddaughter through the Hollywood Museum. Okay. And they were doing I think it was for Lucy, and Danelle Dadigan, who owns the museum, I call it her second home, is so kind and generous, and it's an amazing place. So when you come to LA, we're going, okay? And you will love it. That's and so cool. I think growing up, I remember on summer vacation, being home and watching TV, and I would always gravitate towards I Love Lucy. And
my mother's name is Lucy.
I would watch that show, and then my mom would say, okay, come on, we've got to go skating now, and I always thought, that's what I want to do. That's whom I want to be, and it just never left me. And I just loved her and loved her and loved her. And it was, so I've always everyone says, well, you're kind of Lucy-esque anyway, and everything that happens to you. And I go, yeah, I know. And I think that was a big influence. And then Mel Brooks, of course, you know, and I just adore him, and he's the greatest. So I'm very prejudiced.
Was there anyone else that you never got to meet at all, or any connections to them that you wish you could have?
Elizabeth Taylor. Okay. I wish I could have met her.
Okay.
There was just something about her, and she was a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces.
Great. Me too. That's why I said, and she had one of the greatest quotes. She said, "Curse the day I was born a Piscean woman, but when I die, I will know that I had lived." Oh my gosh. I love it. I always wanted to meet her.
When are you? I'm March 7th. I'm March 7th. When's your birthday?
9th.
So especially March Pisces. We're all similar with our creativity and our sense of humor. We are. Artistic abilities. We are. I love it.
Yes. Love it. And so she said that, and I always wanted to meet her. So I'm really sad that I never got to meet her. She was probably the one person I really wanted to meet.
So in here, in your little bio you sent me, okay? I want to ask you a question. So this is really funny, okay? So I'm going to bring up the Spaceballs movie again. All right? So what part did you have in that movie?
I was the first space captain, and it's really funny because I was looking through Mel's IMDb. So everybody go to my page and start clicking it. It'll help my numbers. But and I went, oh my God, because I really had I had one picture, I think, from Spaceballs, and that was it. And I'm going through it, and there it was, and it was like, oh my God. And so someone helped me, because I'm so technically challenged, helped me do a screenshot of it so I could have it, you know. And I put it on, I think it's on my Facebook page. And you can see me when Mel comes in with his butt on backwards, he looks down, and there's a guy and myself. And so we were the two people, and I went, oh my God. So I blew up that picture on IMDb. So everybody go to IMDb.
Hold on, this is John. We're We're going to let John say hello to everyone. Say hi, John. John, say hello.
Hello?
You're on air. Say hi to Elaine.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi, John, my agent. I love it. You did a great job in getting me this great gig.
Okay. We love you, John.
We love you too. Have a good interview.
All
I'll
right.
see you guys.
Bye,
Take care,
babes.
Elaine.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's so cool that he called in.
Okay, that's
He said he goes like, I'm gonna be watching and listening. So I said, all right.
so cool. I don't usually answer the phone, but it was John.
We
So-
had to. We had to.
So,
Yeah.
all right, so Spaceballs. So how long ago was that movie? About.
Maybe 20 plus years.
Okay.
Because it was done in the 90s.
Okay. So the reason why I'm bringing that up again is I had to, because a lot of my friends, okay, believe it or not, their kids even love the movie. So
Oh yeah, kids love that movie.
when I was telling them that I was interviewing you, they were all going crazy. So I want to say hello to you from all these young people that love the movie. Okay.
Oh, that's so cool. That movie and Robin Hood Men in Tights seem to be the two favorites for young people.
And that's what Ruben said too. Okay. And Ruben's in his 40s. That's what he said too. He was like, those two, Jerry.
And for older people, wiser people, more experienced.
There
How's
you
that?
go.
More experienced people, it's usually Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein.
Oh yes. Listen, for us experienced people, I
Yes.
totally agree with you, girl. Okay.
Well, it was really funny because I ran into Mel one day at Fox, and this is so funny. And I said, and I didn't really know him then, and I was young and looked even younger. And I happened to just go into an office because I was so lost. I don't know who did the numbering at Fox, but in this one building, it was crazy. It made no sense, the numbers. So I just said, the next one I go into, I'm just walking in, I don't care. And I look and I see all these Blazing Saddles posters and everything. And I go back out and I went, oh my God, it's Mel Brooks, you know? So finally, his assistant came and I go, is he in? I didn't even care about my interview at that point. It's like, blow that one off. I would much rather meet him, you know? And she goes, no, she goes, I think he's at lunch or something. So come back later. So I said, okay. So I was going to go back, but I was so late. And those were in the days when you had more than one interview in a day and you were supposed to get across Hollywood in 10 minutes or something. Never happened, you know, couldn't get out of the parking lot now in 10 minutes. And so anyway, so I was walking down. I just said, well, I'll come back. You know, I know I'm going to come back. So I was walking down the hallway and he had his back to me and only part of his body was sick, but I knew it was he. I just knew. So I ran in there. When you're young, you can get away with anything. And I ran in there and I looked at him and I wanted to make sure because I saw Saddles like 5 times already, you know, by that time. And I go, no, he's not cross-eyed or anything because, you know, he's always looking cross-eyed in Saddles. And so anyway, it was so funny. He was in Alan Ladd Jr.'s office, who was president of Fox at the time. Could have cared less about him. It's like, oh, no wonder. What's wrong with my career? You know? And so anyway, I look at him and I start reciting all these lines from Blazing Saddles. And he looks at me and he goes, how did you get into the movie? He goes, you're too young. And I go, too young? I've seen it 5 times already.
That's great.
And we were best friends ever since. It was so funny. I was reciting all these lines from it and everything. And he was in the middle of doing, they were finishing up Young Frankenstein. And so that was great. And I will give a shout out to me for that. The scene in Young Frankenstein, you know, where Madeline Kahn is at the train station with Jean, and she's going, the hair, and he goes, the hair, the nails, and he goes, yes, and then he's like hugging her, and she's going, taffeta, and he's going, taffeta, and she goes, no, taffeta, and he goes, yes, taffeta, darling. And so anyway, that was like my favorite scene. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. Well, I mean, each scene was hysterical in that movie. But so I was visiting Mel one day, and I was in his office, and Mel's sitting this way and I'm sitting this way. And Jean comes running in with no regard that I'm even there, and he goes, the scene's out. And Mel goes, what do you mean the scene's out? What scene, And so he goes, the taffeta scene. So I just jumped up and I said, so now Mel and Jean are facing this way and I'm facing this way, okay? And so they said, I go, no, that's my favorite scene. You can't take it out. You can't do it. It's like, being absolutely spastic. And so anyway, they look at me, look at each other, look at me, look at each other, and they go, all right, it's in. But if it doesn't work, it's your fault.
That's funny.
Yes.
That's funny. So let's talk a little bit about your book now. So show everyone your book again.
Okay, here's my book.
Okay.
How to Write a Book, Camp Elaine Style. And I will just read you, and I can show you too. Here's the table of contents, okay? They probably, can you see it? Yeah, okay. Chapter 1, congratulations, you showed up. Now take out a pen, pencil, crayon, any writing implement, and start writing. And then chapter 2 is see, and you thought you couldn't do it. Chapter 3, if you need me, just call or text, but now they're into it. And then chapter 4, look at you go. So I'm always being their cheerleader, helping them. And then chapter 5 is see, you're halfway there. Chapter 6 is go, writer, go, still encouraging. Chapter 7, because I'm a huge sports fan. Okay, 7th inning stretch, take a break. And then chapter 8, now that you're freshly energized, start writing. Chapter 9, just a little bit more. And then chapter 10 is congratulations, you did it. Or not, but everybody needs a cheerleader in life. And see, I'll show you the picture at the end. And wait a second. It is here. I promise. There it is. So you get a diploma. If you finish the book, you get a diploma. But and it was also there's a wonderful picture. There's the picture with Oreo on the back, and the picture on the front was actually done by a photographer, Neil Kramer, who he and his partner have business partner have won awards for best photographer. And so I was able to get this shot only because it was during COVID, and they said, well, we have enough Caucasian people, we really need more ethnic people. And I said, but I have a dog who's biracial. See, he's got a black face and a white body. So when I told them I had a biracial child, they were kind of intrigued. And then when they found out it was a dog, they were like, oh, she tricked us. But anyway, this was Oreo.
That's cool.
And so, which brings me to the next thing, which was, unfortunately, he passed. He had lymphoma, which I won't even go into that part because that is like, my heart is still broken, and it's been almost a year. And I did a movie called Tim Lee's Dracula. I'm only good with Dracula, horror flicks. They all have to be Dracula related. So it's Tim Lee's Dracula, Bride of Horror. And it's going to be distributed through Screen Time. And so it's going to be on DVD, so they can buy a DVD of it. And it's going to be on video on demand. So it was great. And I said, oh, well, Oreo has to be in the movie, And so they did. They wrote a part for him in the movie, and he was great. And then they liked him so much that they wrote another part for him, but he had passed. And so I tell people, I go, well, I got the second scene, but it was really for Oreo. So I was playing a dog.
That's cute.
But he was so great. I mean, all my dogs just love, being in my videos and my movies and stuff like that. So they're all hams. I wonder where they get it.
So what's coming up for you?
Well, that movie, Tim Lee's Dracula, Bride of Horror, that one's going to be released. He also did a music video, which is going to be released July 1st. And the movie, they're doing different kinds of premieres and promos and stuff like that. So I'm not exactly sure of the exact date of the release, when the DVDs will be out or video on demand, but I just know that I'm allowed to talk about it now, so it's great. And that was a fun movie, and again, just such a diverse cast. Everyone just like, oh my, this is so exciting. Tell me about your background, and stuff like that. So it was wonderful, and it was done for the most part, on the Venice Boardwalk in LA. Everyone knows, I'm sure.
I've been there.
Yes. Yeah, the
the
Venice Boardwalk. And I think he's going to be doing another film after this one is released, because he's been working so hard on it. So that's good. And then fingers crossed, as soon as David gets his channel up and running, hopefully we're going to be cranking out more misadventures of Campy Lane.
That's very
cool. I'm really excited about that. We've got about 10 shows already sketched out, and it's going to be mainly, improv. It's going to be on the same style as Curb Your Enthusiasm, which it already, has been forever. So I'm looking forward to that. I just love the character so much. And, it's just so campy and over the top and everything, hence the Campy Lane part. And, you have to laugh, I mean,
we need to laugh.
Yeah. And just the misadventures, and it's things that happen. I mean, that you can't write in life. I mean, you write, I kind of do it backwards, because it's like really art imitating life. And everyone goes, you've got to write that down. You've got to write that down. No one will believe it. And I go, I know, I got you covered. And then the other thing, if people have BET Plus, they can watch the 4 seasons of The Rich and the Ruthless, which is a comedy sitcom. I mean, a comedy soap opera. It's about the behind the scenes, and Victoria Rao from the Young and Restless and Diagnosis Murder. And then she was just on The Good Sam. Good Sam, is that it? She was on that, and she works all the time, and now she's doing a lot of directing. So, but that cast was amazing as well. I guess some of them I've been really blessed, and totally diverse. And one of the girls, well, I call them girls and boys, ladies, she won for Best Actress. Well, she's won more than once, but in one of her acceptance speeches, she said, the cast is so wonderful that we would just show up and people go, oh, you're working today? No, I just came to hang out.
That's great.
It was so much fun. And then when COVID hit, we couldn't do it because you had to be tested and this and that. So if you weren't in the shoot that day, we couldn't just go hang out. So COVID ruined our lives.
I have a question.
In more ways than one.
Wait, Ruben? I hear myself weird. Okay, that's better. So I have a question. When you were growing up, with your personality, with your sense of humor, with all of it, okay? You know where I'm going with this, right?
No.
So were you in trouble in school a lot for talking and joking around?
Oh no, I was really a good student, and I was always senior. I was always class president, or if
so
I weren't,
you were a good kid.
Oh no, I was a really good kid, on the surface, but on I was instrumental in leading other things.
Yeah, sure, of course. I always say this, Elaine. I always say, they ask me like about my personality. I said, I should have been doing this a long time ago. I was in trouble every day of my life for talking, but I was a good kid. The teachers loved me. But I was in trouble every day for talking. So I'm picturing you like walking down the halls with your attitude and making fun of everyone, and the teachers being like, Elaine, Elaine.
No, I was always the good student, but I was always like for example, I mean, since most of the people are gone, it wouldn't matter. But in geometry class, like I went to a private school and most of them were professionals. So either in the music industry, modeling,
Gotcha.
skating, whatever, you know.
Okay.
And so like they would be on tour. I mean, and the joke was if you really wanted to be out of class, you'd have someone run when they used to have phone booths and call the office and go, oh, so-and-so has an audition. They've got to leave now.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, we didn't have that. I was in a Catholic school growing up, and then we didn't have that. I wish.
Yeah, well, you at least have good handwriting. But at our school, I mean, when we think about it, I talk to a friend of mine all the time, and we laugh and go, do you realize that people who were there and how nuts they were? And it was so funny. It was like in geometry class, I did my notebook for geometry because we had to do like a notebook thing or something to turn in, and everyone just copied mine, and so it was like 13 of the
That's funny. That's funny.
same thing. And so we always did that. And then the same with speeches. It's like, oh, I remember so and so doing a president's speech, so let me go find her speech and I'll just change it a little bit. You know, I mean, so we used to do stuff like that. I mean, it was always those kinds of pranks and stuff like that. I love pranks. I think they're so good, but you can't really do them now. I mean, there's
Crazy. I know.
you know, they'll think you're crazy. You'll get arrested or something
I
like
know.
that.
I still do some little ones. I mean, you know, harmless little ones, but we all have to. You know?
Yeah. So the times are just so different now. And it was like, I remember a friend of mine and we decided we were like really upset with this person, and it was his birthday. And I mean, he was a lawyer. So we had a party for his law firm and made him pay for it.
That's great. That's great.
We sent all this food to us, you know, but you could never do that now because now you have to give them a credit card in advance and stuff like that. So we had good times.
So what else would you like to share with everyone? We have a little bit of time left. What else would you want to share?
Well, I think the most important thing is, as you said at the top of your show and kind of with your book and your song, is that unfortunately, and I hate to go down this path, but unfortunately with COVID, it isolated so many people.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that don't have family or anything. And there were a lot of pets that were adopted. So if you had an animal that was sick during COVID, you couldn't even get into a vet because the vets weren't seeing people, and they said, we're too inundated. They wouldn't take anybody new. So, I mean, things like that we're helping people by having company, and then they couldn't account for it, you know. And now whenever there's somewhere or something or whatever that somebody doesn't want to do, oh, COVID, come on, you know, at this point, I think we can all get past that. And they say, oh, people don't want to work. Well, people do want to work. They want to get paid though for working, you know. And with gas being, I don't know what your gas is, but here it's over $6 a gallon.
Oh no, it's like it was like $4.89 yesterday here.
We would love it.
So
We would.
6?
It's over 6, and in some places it's over 7. I mean, I've been in different parts of Los Angeles where it's almost $8, and I've seen it over 8 as well.
Wow.
I mean, you know, it just depends where in Los Angeles you are. And I think that, again, not to be political, but I think Congress is just out of touch with the average person. And I think they don't realize, because I had a chance to pass a bill where they could put a stop to this, greed of the oil companies.
Yeah, we can't go political on this
No,
show, but I get
what
you're
I'm saying is, I just want people to be in touch.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
like, be aware. And I am kind of, in a way, a political activist, in that I just want the good for the people.
Yes.
And I think people need to, not what you said, don't be afraid. And, write to your, elected officials and be involved, because you do have a voice. And that's really what, I don't care which party you're in, as long as you're partying.
Yeah.
But you do have a voice, and don't, as you say, you so succinctly stated, don't be locked out.
No.
And you've got to speak up for yourself. And that's the only thing that I'm saying, is that I really think politicians need to listen to their constituents.
My daughter and I, and actually Ruben came with us into Trenton. We did it twice with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We protested for our rights, for the constitutional rights, period. And again, that's it. And everybody needs to at least be aware, like you were saying, and get involved. There you go. So
that's it.
Thank you for that. Beautiful.
Yeah, because I got a lot of people. I first got involved, I was really kind of afraid to say anything, because I am so outspoken about everything. And I went to a city council meeting, and I just spoke the truth. And people came over and they go, "Oh my God, you were so good." And it wasn't that I was good. And half the time I don't even remember, because it was just the truth. And it was just God saying, look, please, people, just listen to what other people are doing. You are all politicians. You can make a difference in people's lives. And they're crying out. And
Yes.
I think we as individuals are responsible for each other, and to listen to the cries. That's
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
When I wrote this book, I was actually banned from speaking at a lot of events, because I would not agree with them about addiction and recovery. Okay. I will not tell anyone they're ever hopeless or powerless and can't be cured. I'll never do that. And I'm okay with it. Just like you and I, we will stick to our guns. We're Pisces girls, and we're going to change our minds, and that's all there is to it. And we just want the good for everyone. So, Elaine, we have
what I really want, though, is for people to educate themselves.
That's right. Exactly.
Educate yourself and then decide for yourself.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing I tell people. I go, look, don't listen to me, but do a lot of research, and not just on the internet. Don't go to just the mainstream media. Look everywhere, and then make your choices.
Beautiful. Perfect.
That's just the way I am. It's like, I want to hear everything. I want to hear everyone's side, and then I'll make a decision.
Perfect.
Don't tell me I have to do this or I can't do that, when I know that I'm capable of doing it. And that's all I say to people, is just be aware. Look at the information that's out there. Don't just look at one source, look at many sources, because that's the only way you're going to learn.
We are so much alike. We have a few more minutes. I'm going to let you close, but I just want to share this with you real quick. When I was young, we were forced to go to Catholic school, of course, in New York. But then we moved here when I was in 7th grade, and me and my brother begged my parents, please send us to public, which was right on my road, right around the corner. So she was like, fine. But anyway, I remember as a little kid, when we made our confession and communion a lot younger in New York back then than they do now. And I remember us all being scared, lined up to go into this box and open the door and, bless me, Father, for I've sinned, that kind of thing. But I went home, and this is what I said to my mother, Mommy, why do I have to tell that strange man in that scary room that I was bad? Can't I tell God? And she said, yes. And Elaine, I talked to rabbis and priests and pastors. I made my own decision. So what you're saying is beautiful. We are so much alike. And I just wish the rest of the world would get informed. I appreciate it. So
that's it. Just educate. And to me, that's what education is is to do research, because I used to love going to libraries and stuff.
Yes,
and
me too.
looking through different books and stuff like that and learning about everything. Like, people will laugh at you when you say, oh, I was going to be a soc major, or I was going to be a psych major, or I was going to be religion or something, philosophy, because those were all my passions. I wanted to learn so much, and I still do. I want to be that sponge that can absorb. But I think when you're younger, you can absorb more. But now I have more of a hunger and thirst to learn and know what's out there, and kind of the same thing with medications or whatever. Know your body, and don't be afraid to talk to your doctors. Someone said, well, don't you listen to your doctors? I said, no, but they listen to me.
I have to cut. Sorry, I have to. I'm a nutritional health coach. I cured myself of 2 cancers almost 30 years ago through fasting and vegan and organic. Even my bed is organic. I haven't been on a medication in 30 years. And I had an accident 5 years ago with a chair, okay? I had no choice. I couldn't move my arm, my knee. I had to get 1 shot in my knee and 1 in my arm. And I actually researched it and told them the shot to give me. And then the doctor laughed and said, so if I give you this prescription for pain pills, you're going to rip it up? I go, oh, give it to me. And I ripped it, and he giggled. And he said, and you're not coming back for any more shots? I said, no, but thank you. So I agree 1,000%. I had to share that with you because we are way too much alike, girl.
I know, this is so great. I'll interview myself.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to let you have a few more minutes before I say my thank yous to you and everyone. Talk to your fans a few minutes, okay?
Well, I would love, I'm on social media, sort of. Yep. I'm on there, but I do Facebook mainly. So if anyone wants to contact me, they can contact me via Facebook, Elaine, Elaine, Ballace, Ballace. I'm on Twitter. I always try and do those, and then I forget all about Instagram unless I'm doing like some pictures, and then it's already on my phone, so I send it to Instagram and Facebook. But the best way really to reach me, and they can message me, via Facebook, which is probably the best way. Mm-hmm. And if they want to get my book, just message me, and I will give them the address and everything. And each book is personally autographed. So, that way it's for them. And again, it's my writing. So, they know that it's real. And that was another thing that I did because I wanted to self-distribute, only because I wanted to have a personal contact with each person who got the book. And if it were for somebody, if you're buying it for someone, I'll still autograph it to them, but I want to be able to personally autograph each book and share a little bit of something with them and encourage them. I want to be their cheerleader, literally, to write the book. I can give the address, the P.O. Box where they can write me, which is P.O. Box 50082, Studio City, California, 91614. And it's $40. That includes the autograph, the shipping, and the book. So it's a good deal. Because if you go to an autograph show, you're paying at least that for something. And usually that's for the autograph and then the book. But this is all one. And everyone who's received a book, who bought the book, has loved it, in the sense that, oh my God, this is what I need to do. And even if they're not doing it right away, some do it right away and start writing, and some just keep looking at the book going, I need to do this, because as nobody knows, tomorrow's not promised or anything. And so if you want to leave something for anybody, or just a legacy, there's so many people who don't have family at this point, but if someone's cleaning it out and they pick up the book and they go, and then they start looking through the book, they go, wow, I didn't know that he or she went through that or experienced that or anything. And that's what I want. I want each person to be accounted for.
Beautiful. Elaine, thank you. I want to say my thank yous. First and foremost to John Terlizzi, because he was our
Absolutely. John, thank you. This has been so much fun.
Okay, he was our connection. And to your baby over there, probably sleeping now, for saying hi to us.
Yes, where is she? I don't know. This could be dangerous. Where are you?
Okay, she's sleeping. Leave her be.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to Ruben, because he was cracking up with your bio. He loves you. He's now
good.
Yep.
Ruben, take the train here.
There it is.
Yes, I will.
And
Yeah. And I just
I
want
want
to
to say thank.
I want to
Go
say
ahead,
thank
Ruben,
you
sorry.
for being on here. It was a great interview and all. And I'm just gonna throw this out there as a maybe or a possibility, as you never know, and just to ask, if Mel is ever
No.
hold on
Yes.
is
Go ahead.
ever over the COVID thing and he's feeling fine and you two want to get on together, call Geri. I'm just throwing it
Please.
out there. No
Yes.
promises. I know.
Okay, call it. Yes. Thank you, Ruben. Maybe from you.
And you're
she'll
so
listen.
fabulous, Elaine. You're so lovely and
thank
beautiful.
So I want to
Thank you.
Elaine, I want to thank you first and foremost from the bottom of my heart. Okay.
Well, I want to thank you, and I'm so glad. See, I guess good things come to those who wait.
Yes. There's listen, I agree with that. There's always the right time. And this was absolutely beautiful. We're Pisces.
Perfect timing.
So much alike. We have so much in common. And you know what? Thank you from the bottom of my heart for honoring me here tonight with this interview. So thank you,
Well,
sweetie.
thank you for having me. I loved it, and I want to come back.
Oh, we will plan it. We will plan
And definitely look probably by July, maybe August, the latest, for the Misadventures of Campy Lane, and probably by July, Dracula, Tim Lee's Dracula, Bride of Horror. Because I understand there are a lot of Dracula movies coming out, but this is Tim Lee's.
Okay. Thank you, Elaine. Ruben, take us out, baby.
Mwah!
Hold up your book too.
Okay.
Do the dance.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.